actually. Rancid Cowflop, Up to My Knees, is the title of this piece by Ezekiel Kralin, who wrote Email Correspondence, April 12th and 13th. This is Bad, continued. Date April 12th, afternoon. You know NOLO Publishers, famous for all their legal self-help books? Who doesn't? Well, I went to their website 20 minutes ago and clicked on their free counseling chat service. Here's how it went so far. Begin. Me. My problem is I'm being sued for a personal injury for more than $25,000. All allegations are false. My sole income is Social Security, no assets. The local bar association here in San Francisco accepted my application for a modest fee based on my low income. But the attorney they referred me to does not do pro bono or sliding fee. So I called the bar association back, and they said they can't help me, even though I requested that they get me the right pro bono lawyer, since they claim to be an organization that provides free services to the very low income and most vulnerable. There is no other legal group that will handle my case pro bono, most because they don't deal with personal injury. So I have to be my own attorney, which is scary. I need to know the proper form for requesting a dismissal. I'm wondering, though, since the other defendant, the landlord, the charges against me will be directed at him instead if I'm dismissed. So maybe it's better if I use an answer form to deny the allegations. Time's running out for me. Deadline date to reply to the summons is less than 2 weeks. NOLO wrote back, we may be able to help you with that. May I know where you need representation, city, state, and zip code? Me. San Francisco, California. My zip code is 94117. NOLO wrote, I'm sorry about that. The lawyer best suited to assist you is unavailable to chat at the moment, but I can have someone from our legal team contact you as soon as possible. Thank you. I will forward this transcript immediately and request that you are contacted as soon as possible. End of chat. So now I'm waiting for them to get back to me. This is Bad. Date April 12th, nighttime. Watson wrote, I hope that wasn't a chatbot conversing with you. I replied, could have fooled me. I pictured a young, bright-eyed lady about 28 years old with brunette hair pulled back into an intellectual ponytail, you know, the kind that's knotted just above the neckline instead of higher up, or even, glob forbid, right at the top. Now, just how did I come up with such a vision, subliminal flashing through the chat window? They may never get back to me. My request for pro bono may have scared them away, considering how abruptly she disconnected from chat, leaving me a frozen statue in my room because I don't dare step out on tenterhooks waiting for their call, while I could be back at the SF Law Library poring over the NOLO book about how to be your own lawyer. Even though the folks there told me I could read it online from their electronic collection, from the comfort of my own home, though comfort has become a joke for me these days. I could not find the fucking book, even though there were scads of other NOLO publications that don't come close to the particular book I'm seeking. On some of my form searches via the San Francisco courthouse site, they provide links within a basic document to the form in question, and another link for a detailed explanation, only to have the link do a 404 on me, or call up a dead page with just the heading, and searching for the right source rarely gets me anywhere. Not for lack of using the correct phrase, because their internal search is juvenile, making it impossible to drill down to the info or form you really want. Same thing goes for the San Francisco Law Library. One of the clerks there offered to look up denial reply to civil summons, since I told her I can't seem to access it myself. Of course, she treated me like a clueless old fuddy-duddy who doesn't know the first thing about computers or the Internet. God, I hate ageism. It's an albatross around my tiny gonads. Sorry, I don't know why I said tiny. It's not there. It's late. Forgive me. It's an albatross around my gonads. Okay, but she couldn't find it either, no matter her tweaking the search term this way and that. Never mind, she said with a flip of the hand, as if it were no big deal. But it is for me. I'm desperate as a polar bear in estrus at this point, floating all about by her lonesome, he means to say, on a wobbly wafer of ice, thanks to rapid climate change. Let me get you some books instead, she finished. Perhaps Attorney Wasserman chose not to respond to my email because he took offense at my challenge that maybe, just maybe, he was wrong about ignoring the summons because it wasn't hand-delivered, even though I was respectful about it. And why my eviction attorney, Magdalena, doesn't acknowledge my emergency and use her clout to get me someone, even a paralegal, to guide me through the process of getting the right forms and filling them out. After all, the places she referred me to, starting with the bar that she claimed would be free, turned out to be anything but. More like rancid cow flop up to my knees. And now I wonder how many residents in my building have been poisoned by Kevin's gossip. Hard to tell, since they never talk to me anyway, but rarely. I nod my head at them. They nod back, and that's all she wrote. Interesting that the only person who's been going out of their way to greet me is Chihuahua Man, who was also the one who tried to start a tenants' union. Not that we actually converse, but his kind greetings are genuine, which I much appreciate. Like when I opened the front gate for him and his pups yesterday, he declared, "Why, thank you, kind sir." There was also our maintenance man, who's been showing more amity toward me these past several months. So what the fuck is going on, Watson? Just look to my bodhisattva premise for the answer, which is, we have no enemies, only teachers, and they're putting me through my paces with this latest script they've devised. My goal, of course, is to impress them with continued friendliness and lack of any anger, fear, or grief. After all, I do preach to people when they bother to listen. One of the best things you can do when you're going through misery is reach out to another and put a smile on their face without ever dumping your woes on them, not even an iota. Deke needs to get there, and he is in twitches and spurts, and that's exactly what I'm doing. Not just coming up with more tales to tell, brimming with humor, but actually lighting up others with kind words, just as I did an hour ago with the Palestinian shop's patriarch, where I purchased 2 more jars of tahini, somewhat freaked out that NOLO might give me a ring while I wasn't hovel, but I need to eat. Damn it. I shared with him some invigorating thoughts, and it lifted his spirits more than they already were. I didn't really sleep well last night. Gee, I wonder why, what with all these images of my being evicted with nasty grins among the residents standing there to watch me get handcuffed and escorted into a copmobile while they wave bye-bye, B-U-H-B-Y-E-E-E, as I'm shuffled off to county jail. All these diabolical nightmare gremlins dancing about my noggin like pus-bloated sugar plums. I was nonetheless surprisingly relaxed in spite of that, not as worried as I thought I'd be, and felt rested by the time I arose at 4:30 a.m. and got back on the net to continue my summons-oriented research. Just kidding, I got out of bed around 7. Signed, Zeke K. Holmes. P.S. NOLO never got back to me. Nor has Mr. Wasserman, in spite of his offering to find me a free attorney service if legal assistance for the elderly didn't work out. But you never know. He might call me tomorrow, or Ms. Elvensborn, to tell me she found me a good legal counselor. I can't believe that G.G. Barr jilted me. I took so long before posting you this missive because Deke showed up 4 hours ago and asked me to sit the pups. More on that in my next email. Subject, answer or dismissal? That is the question. Date, April 13th, morning. While filling out a dismissal is an uncomplicated process as opposed to the answer form, I'm afraid the allegations against me will still stand and be directed at the other plaintiff, the landlord, which can easily lead to my eviction. So until I learn otherwise, if at all, since the only resource I can find that might answer my question is the LARC workshop on April 21st, I must assume that has to be the case. I have been trying to find out the better option via online legal resources as well as visiting the San Francisco Law Library, but no luck. The reference librarians don't seem to know the answer either, which I find pathetic. So I will get both forms and fill them out properly and bring them to the LARC workshop, that their 20-minute legal counsel can look them over and affirm whether or not I have the correct forms for my case. Assuming I follow through with the answer tactic, I will have to attend a mediation scheduled for August 23rd, At first glance, I thought it was the trial date, but have since learned otherwise upon closer perusal of the summons, and it's called a case management conference, in which it declares all counsel must discuss ADR with clients and opposing counsel. ADR stands for Alternative Dispute Resolution, seeing as I represent myself. I am the opposing counsel. I think I'll have the option of doing this over the phone instead of in person. And if that's the case, I'll choose the former. During that conference, I'll inform the plaintiff's attorney that my sole income is Social Security, so I'll have achieved putting my denials on record, which would not have occurred had I filed a dismissal. I'm hoping they'll drop the case once they see my denials, especially the matter of rabies vaccination, which will also put the building manager on record as either failing to show the plaintiff proof of the dog's vaccination or intentionally withholding proof, or perhaps being in cahoots with the plaintiff to cook up a scheme with malicious intent to malign yours truly, as well as collect a wad of dough through nefarious means. To be continued.